Sometimes it's hard to kind of remember that there could be definitely different thought processes in areas. Obviously, there should be. There should always be. No one should ever want to be kind of stuck in like an echo chamber. But there are some places that are more than likely just completely echo chambered and they just don't realize it, right? Obviously, the right has their own echo chamber. The left does also. But California in itself is basically a progressive stronghold. Right? That's basically all they are for the most part. But I'm definitely glad that there's one place in California, at the very least, that is looking to, kind of break out of the echo chamber and kind of become salvageable, at least, for the rest of the United States of America, at least. But let's go and check it out, guys. California town declares itself a non-sanctuary city. Let's do it. This is a suggestion via Discord, guys.
Leaders in one California city are fed up with the state's immigration policies, and they're taking things into their own hands. The city council in Huntington Beach declaring itself a non-sanctuary city. The resolution passing this week in a unanimous 7-0 vote. The mayor there, Pat Burns, introducing the legislation for illegal immigration with an effort to prevent crime. And it's
guys, whenever I speak of California kind of going forward here on the channel, I'm going to make sure that I specifically exclude Huntington Beach. So when I start saying all types of craziness, California, et cetera, right? I'm going to make sure, guys, 100%, right, that I completely exclude them.
Seeks to counter some of the governor's policies
their own
in
thought.
California
I like
while
that.
aligning with the Trump administration's tougher immigration agenda. The move also comes as the federal government initiates the early phases of these mass deportations across the country. The U.S. currently has about 14 million undocumented immigrants. The mayor in Huntington says the new policy is common sense,
slightly
supports
lower
law enforcement, and advances public safety in that city, something he says the governor is not doing. The mayor, Pat Burns, is with us now. Good morning to you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for being here. What motivated your decision to pass this legislation?
That is definitely one relaxed mayor. He looks very relaxed.
Legislation in Huntington Beach.
Well, really, it's just common sense that our primary function as a government, the city council, is to provide as safe a city as we could possibly provide. And if we get some of those tools removed, especially by Gavin Newsom, who I don't believe has really public service in his intent in enforcing or trying to impose restrictions on us using different law enforcement agencies to help us keep our city safe. It's just that we got to make the statement that all tools are available for us to do our job.
Good.
And in the immediate,
I have no idea how this is going to work with funding, specifically coming from the head, the lead of California. But I definitely like the idea that they're trying to think for themselves. They're in fact trying to do something to better, help the federal government. Let's say, guys. I mean, listen, we are a collection of separatized states, right, let's say, that all have their own motives and things like that. But I do think that we should all kind of come together for the flag that's right behind his head.
Of this decision, what have you seen changed and what response have you
on you guys.
Been seeing?
Well, I don't anticipate it changing a lot of things in Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach is a pretty cool city.
Yeah, it's laid back.
We don't have that much crime, I'd say, but we got to have those tools ready should the occasion occurs. I want our law enforcement to have all tools available, and we've all sworn allegiance to not only the state constitution, but primarily the U.S. Constitution to uphold all laws. And
exactly.
I don't believe we should be or restricted in any way from using and working in conjunction with our federal law enforcement partners. I was a policeman for 30 years, and I had all kinds of occasions to use and work with other agencies of different levels, from, like I say, school police, postal inspectors, all the way up to FBI, DOJ.
Are these like, what are these guys? I mean, obviously they're tents. Are these homeless tents, shelters, or what's going on here? Or are they showing me this B-roll footage exclusively, showing me at least that there are like migrant encampments specifically in walking distance. I do see like a sidewalk and things like this. Yeah, this isn't acceptable, guys. But I mean, at the same time, this is California. I think they're pretty much used to seeing things like this. I can imagine this happening in Georgia.
Police, postal inspectors all the way up to FBI, DOJ, and
outside the city.
We need that working relationship. And sometimes you need the help, sometimes they need the help. And it's all in an effort to keep our society and our communities as safe as possible. And I don't see any. There's no good common sense reason not to have those resources available.
And what has been the strain on resources with illegal immigrants in your community? What have you seen over the last few years?
To be honest with you, it's nothing different that's been here for a long time, and we just learn to adapt. If there's I wouldn't call it a strain, but like I say, we have a good community, and we want to keep it that way, and we got to be able to enforce and use whatever tools necessary to keep it one of the best communities in our state.
Yeah, guys, I definitely also would not probably call it a strain in here, right? Because the government itself is funding so much that they will never feel anything. California is one of the richest states. They can do this, right? But I'm guessing that's probably the point that he's making here. There's not much financial things that are happening here. I'm sure people are not coming up onto the beach in Huntington Beach, et cetera, with boats and things. So really, they're the ones that are saying, like, listen, if you come here, just be fully aware we're going to completely, adhere to whatever the federal government is basically asking. We're not going to fight against ICE.
It was a unanimous vote, but have you had any pushback, Mayor, to this idea that you call common sense?
It is common sense.
Yeah, it's amazing how to be honest with you, I'm actually shocked at how much attention and how some people think it's an amazing thing, but I think it's just common sense. Like I say, as coming from a law enforcement
common sense
background,
is lost, though.
It really is just putting it back to where when I was a policeman, just how we used each other and capitalized on the strengths of each other to enforce the laws that make our communities safer and better. It's just, I don't understand the shock and awe of this. It's common sense, and we believe in our city that we put Huntington Beach first, and we're fully supportive of the president's mission on enforcing our immigration laws.
Well, appreciate you sharing your thoughts and perspective this morning, Mr. Mayor. Pat Burns from Huntington Beach. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Listen, regardless of if you like the president or not, regardless of if you like the ideologies that he's pushing, et cetera, or not, you are still an American, bro. Like, you have to understand that, like, this is our country, and we definitely need to protect our country. This is just the reality of things here. And I do wish that a lot of people would finally kind of get on board with some of these things. You don't have to like the person. Okay. You just have to understand that we're all Americans. And I would like to get back to the point where everyone, regardless of political stance, could actually just come together and just have fun, bro. Because we used to have fun in the 90s, bro. I'm telling you. But either way, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. You just made it to the end of the video. It says a whole lot, actually. We have a couple other channels. MrLboyd Music, MrLboyd Movie Reacts, along with MrLboyd Discusses, where I just generally speak about the things that specifically matter to me. But in the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.